Hello Year 7, another virtual assembly here, Mr. Thornton from my office. This is my assembly this week on being the motivated, but before I start, I just hope you and your families are well. Thank you to a lot of people sending in some amazing things you've been doing at home, really nice to see, too many to mention. And there's a lot of students as well who are just working day in, day out. I'm really impressed by that. Thank you very much. It will benefit you no end. But my assembly this week's on being motivated. And as you can see there, we've got a picture of, don't know what this is. Get out of my way. I've got a picture of someone cutting something here. I can't do it. And of course, a very negative sentence. And one cut of the snippet scissors, it comes to I can do it. Meaning small changes can change your mindset, and so being motivated. This is my assembly this week. Now, at the start of lockdown, I'm sure you felt like either of the top two pictures. You were eager to work. You were still in that frame of mind of working. We were at school just the day before, and you were prepared to go. And I bet now, realistically speaking, I bet a lot of you are like the bottom two pictures. You're just a bit tired now. 2.5 weeks to go till we break up. You're just getting a bit tired of that same routine, and I understand that, and that's realistic. Some of you might not be. Well impressed if that's you. I honestly am amazed if that's you, that you've kept going for so long. That's a very difficult thing to do, so I'm really impressed there if that is you. But realistically, I know a lot of you. I like the top two pictures. So my assembly is on trying to change us from those bottom two to the top two. So let's have a little look. First of all, it's a really important message to say here that in 2.5 weeks' time, we do break up the 6 weeks some holidays. And make sure that you rest and relax. You do the things you want to do. And that means that when we start school again in September, you're rested and you're eager to go. The strangest thing about this is some people have viewed this whole time off school like a holiday. But a holiday is something that you can do your own thing in. You can go to town, you can go out for a coffee, you might be able to go to the cinema or go on holiday. None of that has happened for any of us. So it's certainly not been a holiday, and a lot of us, you, me, we've been working from home, so this 6-week holiday is going to be very welcome for all of us. So make sure you relax and do the things that you want to do, no matter what that is. The next slide, however, is we've got 2.5 weeks of school left. Okay, they've not started yet, summer holidays. We've still got 2.5 weeks to go, so you've got to be more motivated and more resilient than ever. Now, in order to put that into perspective, I want to tell you a story. Now, in terms of sport, I only like sports that involve an engine. So mostly methanol and petrol. I love motorbike racing, drag racing, going to Santa Pod. I love any sport that's got an engine in it. But there is one sport that I particularly like that doesn't, and it is boxing. Now, I want to tell you the story of a fight that happened in 1964 with the world heavyweight champion of the world, Sonny Liston, and this guy who was coming up through the ranks called Muhammad Ali. At the time, he was called Cassius Clay before he changed his name. But here's the poster. As you can see, Liston versus Clay, and like I say, Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali when he converted to Islam. But in 1964, he was up against Sonny Liston, the heavyweight champion of the world. Sonny Liston was the odds-on favourite to win. I mean, if you put £1 on Muhammad Ali, you'd get 7 back. 7-1, the chance of him winning. It was nothing. People did not think he was going to win. Anyway, here's what happened. For the first 5 rounds, this picture here is very typical of what was happening. Sonny Liston was absolutely giving it to Muhammad Ali. As you can see, body shots, head shots. Muhammad Ali, during these first 5 rounds, was simply doing a style of boxing called peekaboo fighting. It's where you, of course, have your hands up. It's like playing peekaboo. And he was up against the heavyweight champion of the world. He had no idea what to expect. And Sonny Liston hit hard and frequently and often. It must have been very painful. But Muhammad Ali didn't know what he was coming up against here. And the thing is, he kept motivated, because if he beats Sonny Liston, he becomes the heavyweight champion of the world. He takes his belt off him. So the motivation was, even though he's getting absolutely beaten here, such a barrier in the way, he had something inside him, he had some fire inside him. And so what happened is, in my next picture, round 6, Muhammad Ali just said, I can see he's getting tired. Sonny Liston's arms were dropping, his defence was coming down, his punches weren't as painful, weren't as frequent. Muhammad Ali, who'd saved all his energy, started to unleash, okay, and it was a flurry of punches. The 6th round, it was Muhammad Ali just wiped the floor with him. Then Sonny Liston survived, and in round 7, this is what happened. Muhammad Ali knocked Sonny Liston to the ground. That was it. The fight was over. Muhammad Ali became heavyweight champion of the world. Now, the fight itself, there's something to learn here in terms of motivation, that Muhammad Ali knew that going into this terribly difficult obstacle, there was a great reward at the end of it. There was some fantastic thing to come at the end of it. So even though there was a lot of hard work, 5 rounds of hard work, he eventually got his prize. There's a lot of lessons to learn there in terms of doing your hard work now and it pays off in September, or doing your hard work for 4 years, 5 years at Rastrick High School, and then come your GCSEs, you absolutely nail them. Don't worry about that now, but the lessons to be learnt is, if you keep motivated, if you keep your eye on the prize, you'll eventually get there. And so that's why it's so important to keep doing your work during this time. What motivates you? I've put some things up there that might motivate you. So we've got competition. Some of you really like and benefit from healthy competition from friends and family, your brother, your sister. Whether that's schoolwork or not, but competition can be a really big motivator for a lot of people. It makes you do things that you didn't think you can do. Another thing there, the second bullet point down, is time to do the things you enjoy. The Xbox, PS4, dancing. I'm well aware PS4 is lowercase. It's just a typo, but I'm correcting it now, capital. But reward yourself. When you've done hard work, you've done a session in your room, you've done 2 hours of hard work, reward yourself. It's not right if you don't. Do something you love afterwards. Treats and money there, that comes later in life. So as you start working, we get rewarded by money in our careers. You do something and you do it well and you get paid money. But for you guys, treats. Make sure that you reward yourself with treats every so often. So when you've done some work, treat yourself to, some Skittles or a bag of crisps, a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or Jolly Ranchers if you're like me. Treats are really important because you associate, when you're doing your work, whatever that is, you associate the work with the treat. And having such a positive thing next to something so hard, it's very good for your mind to associate that. As you know, I'm fascinated by the brain and how it works. It's a very important thing to do that. Make your work as enjoyable as you can, whether that's with music or with a treat. And that way, every time you listen to music or have that treat, you associate it with work. It's a very good thing to do. Please do take some advice from that. A lot of you would, self-satisfaction and self-worth is very difficult in year 7. I know a lot of you would like to sit there and go, yeah, I do work for myself. But I realistically know that's very hard to do without some form of praise or reward. Self-satisfaction where you can sit down after 2 hours and go, I'm really proud of myself for doing that. There's very few students who can do that. So if that is you and you're listening to me saying those words, well done. I really mean that. Well done. I certainly couldn't do that at your age. So well done to you. Pride in your education achievements. Every student watching this has pride in their education, or else you won't be watching this assembly. You wouldn't have done any work if you didn't have pride in your education. That says a lot about you, that you have pride in your education. It says a lot about how you're going to be at school for the next 4 years, which makes me very happy. And praise and success, this might motivate you. Praise from someone, it might be your parents, whoever, it might be me. You want to be praised for the things you do, and that's an important thing. So find out what motivates you and make sure you capitalise on that. Do the things that make you feel better. The next thing, how to be motivated. So have a routine. Make sure you're getting up and you're doing your work or at the most productive time of day. Short and long-term goals, like I say, after half an hour of work, you're just going to treat yourself to a chocolate bar. Do it. do it. That's a short-term goal, and a long-term goal might be in 2.5 weeks' time when we break up for summer, because I've worked so hard during this time, I'm going to treat myself to do all the things over summer that I want to do. No matter what it is, treat yourself. Work at your most productive time of day. Really important there. For me, that's early in the morning, from 7 o'clock onwards when I'm at this computer. That's where I'm most productive. So I always do my hardest work then. And as the day goes on, I get more tired. Come 5 o'clock, the chase is on and I'm watching that, and then followed by The Simpsons, and I want to do the things I enjoy then. So I become very unproductive, and so I always make sure I do my work in the morning. Find when your most productive time of the day is. It might be the afternoon. Work when it's your most productive time of day. Reward yourself regularly. Enough said about that. Treats, Jolly Ranchers or Skittles. I'm promoting healthy eating as well, but Jolly Ranchers are really good. Really good. Share your successes. So share it with your friends, your family, or via that Year 7 support link that goes out in the parent mail. Send it to me and I love to see it. I'm amazed by some of the things I'm seeing. A lot of you might be too shy no, I don't want to. And I get that. So if you are working so hard but you don't want me to recognise that, you don't want me to see it, good for you. Good for you that you might not need that external praise. I'm really pleased, but it's there if you need it, and I'm happy to do it. Final thing I want to show you is this video. We're going to watch it together. I would click on the link. There's a problem with it. This is about the third time I've recorded this assembly, so I have to minimise the screen and get up YouTube. We're going to watch the clip together and then talk through it, so bear with me. We're still recording. Here comes my YouTube video. Okay, here we go.
After being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. He wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teachers said he would never amount to much. Was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. At age 11, he was cut from his team after being diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, which made him smaller in stature than most kids his age. At 30 years old, he was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started. A high school dropout whose personal struggles with drugs and poverty culminated in an unsuccessful suicide attempt. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and that he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Rejected by Decca Recording Studios, who said, "We don't like their sound. They have no future in show business." His first book was rejected by 27 publishers. His fiancée died, failed in business, had a nervous breakdown, and was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never tried anything new.
So, really important message there. I mean, the amount of failure that we've all had in our lives, me included, the amount is unbelievable. But you stay motivated throughout. You don't let life, you don't let things beat you and lose. You don't quit. You never quit, ever. That's a real big pet hate of mine. You keep going until you get to where you want to be. You keep going until you've got what you need. So in the vein of the video there, I want you to imagine that one of those stories is you, because there's 360 of you in this year group, and some of you will go on to do great things. Great things. So imagine that you're one of those slides, you're one of those last slides, and it'll say something like in year 7, you went into lockdown, you had no school for however many months, and that you ended up being, X, Y, and Z. I don't know, what's your story? But so many obstacles, and yet you have to remain motivated, and you'll get there in the end. Thanks so much for listening to me, Year 7. I hope you and your family are all well and you stay safe. 2.5 weeks to go. Make sure you keep your head down and keep working, and hopefully I'll see you all in the Keeping in Touch days next week. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.